Hello, everyone. My name is George Madu, and I'm the owner and founder of the Network Marketing Magazine. I'm so glad you're here today for this Thursday's Hangout. I am just wildly excited about this particular Hangout because it really features my very good friend, Dottie Berry. Dottie is a consultant, a coach, a trainer, a speaker, but most of all, she's the Google Hangout maven. And we are just having such a wonderful time, Dottie and I. And I just love the fact that what she's doing is she's bringing the technology aspect to the Network Marketing Magazine and helping every one of our members learn the parts and pieces to using technology to grow your business. So at this point, I would like to introduce my good friend, Dottie Berry.
Hey, thank you, George. It's amazing what you have accomplished over the last 10 years, and I felt very honored and privileged to be brought on and, sort of tapped on the shoulder. Sometimes when we are doing things like I've been doing Google Hangouts for the, past couple years, honing my skills, and everything, and people say, how did you learn to do that? And I go, well, I had a desire to learn this platform. And then pretty much, George, you remember how, years back we were doing web conferencing, which we're still doing. Just this is a new, different type of platform. But I've told people, I was willing to present when nobody showed up in the chairs. George, do you know what that's like?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like, let's take it offline for a second. We are the Network Marketing Magazine bringing great value, but I want you just to kind of go back in history and look at what George Madu has done. We have the most fantastic archive of articles in the whole universe, in the whole world. Over 3,000 articles written by the best of the best. The Zig Ziglars, the Jim Rohn. I mean, we could just go on and on with these articles, but we're in a new era. And I share with people, look, if you're doing something offline and you have an event, sometimes people show up and sometimes they don't, but you never quit honing your skills just because nobody's there. It's sort of like, George, how somebody's a singer and all of a sudden they make it overnight. Do you really think they made it overnight?
Well, we're in our 10th year here at the magazine, and someone just said to me last week that it's amazing how you are an overnight success. I said, yeah, it only took us 10 years.
Yeah, and that's my point, George. I mean, singers that sing in a lounge in a small town where nobody's there, or maybe one person or two people. So it's the same thing with this. If you want to learn how to do something, guess what? You get on and do it, and you do it to the best of your ability, whether there's somebody there or not. And
Right.
sometimes you don't know if somebody's listening. I've had people say, "Oh, I was going to do a webinar, and I could tell nobody was there, so I left at 10 after." And you know what happened, George? Somebody showed up at 15 after who was going to be your key person for growing your business, and you had left the stage. Folks,
Right.
first thing I'm going to tell you is don't you ever leave the stage. You deliver what you said you were going to deliver at the time you were going to deliver it. And George and I, we say we're going to start at noon Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time each Thursday. That's what we're going to do. And if we can't have a hangout for some reason, and we have one from the last week, we're going to let you know that. We're going to communicate that. I was out of town, and we had our LinkedIn training, and we left that up for a couple of weeks. Now, I do want to draw your attention to there's a chat box down there, so if you have some questions you want to put in as we get started, go ahead and do that. And, yeah, fill it up, and there's some social share buttons up there. Get on right now and invite some people to come here. There's also a button that says recorded hangouts. So those recorded hangouts for the LinkedIn training, for the Facebook marketing, all of these things are there. So this is a new era, George, that we're creating. And even as you begin to see these articles in the future, those articles, you're going to be able to access them in the written form, in the audio form. And guess what? We're going to be teaching our our contributors to use this platform and actually have their video about that article via Google Hangouts, because this is the happening. So if you've said to yourself, I would love to use Google Hangouts, how do I do it? This is what it's about. I did call it branding and landing on page 1 of Google, and that's going to be a part of it. But I want to start off like this. George, there's essentially 3 different components here, okay? Well, let me back up a little, maybe 4. And the reason I say that is, number 1 is there's the private Hangout. Now, that's not what we're doing right here. This is a live Google Hangout. And just for those, I don't want to make assumptions about what people know or they don't know. So what I'm going to say is a live Google Hangout is recorded. This right now is nothing more than a live streaming YouTube video, okay? Google owns YouTube. They bought them some years back, 2008 I think it was, for billions. They saw where things were going, and this is a very important piece and component. So this is a live Hangout. Now, what happens is that within 5 minutes of this ending, it becomes what's called an evergreen video. And, again, I'm not going to assume you know what that is, because I've had so many people say, well, what's evergreen? And sometimes my question back to them is, well, what do you think evergreen is? And they say, it's always green, always there. And I go, exactly. So lots of times people actually know more than they realize they know. So let's go back. There's a private Hangout. I'm going to show you how to set that up, because you might be doing training or coaching or whatever, and you want to utilize this with people. A private Hangout is not recorded, okay? But a live Hangout on Air, HOA, Hangouts on Air, is recorded. And there's 2 different types of Hangouts on Air that you can do, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Most people are familiar with maybe how to set it up on the fly through your Google Plus account. So I'm going to share the screen and show you exactly how that works. But what people don't know a lot about is how you actually come back over to YouTube, and you go in YouTube, and there's a place where you can set it up in advance. Now, this is exceptional for you. If you're going to be setting up team trainings in advance, very, very important. So once you get that Hangout, though, I think that it looks most professional to put it in a page like we have with our network marketing magazine. We have Hangout with THMM.com, and that's the page that you're on right now watching this. So if you catch it on YouTube later, just know that you can come to Hangout with THMM, excuse me, what did I say, TH? The Network Marketing Magazine, TNMM, get my words messed up here. I'm going to clarify that, TNMM, the Network Marketing Magazine. And you can come onto our page, because we're going to give you access to other things. Like when we did the LinkedIn training. You remember that, George, of course, and I gave a PDF that people can access. And, when they go over there on our recorded Hangouts, they can actually access that PDF. So, George, let me ask you, before we get started, do you have any questions? I mean, I know some of this has been new for you, and I come on here and I run them, but with what I just said, what questions would you have right off the bat from knowing that there's private and that there's 2 different ways to do live Hangouts on Air?
Well, I'm just as excited as everybody else to find out the details of having to do it. Obviously, the private is really powerful because, it's a lot different than picking up a phone or sending a text message or sending an email. When you're able to actually see somebody, you and I are literally on diagonal ends of the United States.
Yes.
And it wasn't until last week or so that we've known each other for a while. It wasn't until last week that we met each other face to face. But we've built an incredible relationship because of this tool with Hangout, because you get to know people. You get to not read into what was written in the text or anything else. You can see the eye motion. You can see the smiles when you're making fun of me, and I know you're only kidding, So that's what's neat about the private. the live hangout is just an awesome leverage builder tool, and meaning that, I just left a guy just a couple of minutes ago, and I'm here in South Florida, and he lives in just south of me in Miami, and he does a lot of work with people that he brings into his business and into a meeting. Well, not everyone lives in Miami. And
Yeah.
with a tool like this, you could literally make the world your neighborhood now and build your business. So this is one of the things I'm really excited about learning as you teach us. And literally, the world becomes your neighborhood. You and I had done a Google Hangout with a real interesting guy that we're going to be doing business with that lives in Jerusalem and doesn't want to leave there. So we can invite him to come to South Florida all we want, but he's not leaving. But we still got the opportunity to meet him, learn about him, see his reactions and everything else. So the live Google Hangout is just, like I said, an awesome business builder with incredible leverage. So I'm excited. Go.
No, George, that's perfect what you said, because I want people to think about this. People really need to wrap their head around the fact that the internet is not a way to avoid people. The internet simply lets us connect with more people who are interested in what we're interested in together.
Right.
And so think about it, George, offline. Like if we were in the neighborhood together, we might all have a porch, right? Like the old days on the front of our house, and we go hang out at each other's porch. And so that's what we've got. We've got a virtual porch now. And we're all hanging out here together. And every morning at 10:30 Pacific time, I have a meeting with my business partner in Greece. Yeah, this is another George. I told George if one more George comes into my life, I've got George V, George M, George G, George C. I've got more Georges. It's all great. I love all the Georges. But the point is, I have a relationship with George in Greece, and he's like my brother now. But in September, it'll be the first time I meet him in person. But like you said, George, we already had that relationship. So let me just clarify this. With a private hangout, you can bring up to 9 other people, total of 10, with just the regular Google platform. There is a business Google platform where you can have more, but let's just talk about what the free platform is. And so you can have them in the hangout, okay? The person who facilitates it and 9 more. You can do the same thing for a live Google Hangout. Now here's a distinction with the live Google Hangouts, and I want to start, before I screen share, show you how to set them up. This is really important to grasp. But the Hangout is owned. Google owns the YouTube. So who do you give the most loving to? Your friends and family. So Google gives a lot of loving, stroking, SEO to the Google Hangouts that are actually live streaming YouTube videos. So this is why some people don't just use it for a training like we're doing. Use it to shoot your daily videos. You want a great technique for branding and landing on page 1 of Google? Take notes right now. I'm going to tell you what it is.
Okay, before you go on.
What's that?
Before you go on,
yeah.
Just take a step back, and you just said something real quick that I think is really important. The loving that Google ends passing on to the family members of Google. You just ended up quickly saying, adding to that loving is SEO.
Yeah.
Explain that.
Well, your search engine optimization. So when we go and we have that hangout and we're setting it up and we put the keywords in there that are in the title, I tell people one of the great tricks is to make sure that all of those words in that title is in your description 3 times, the whole title. And if you go back and you look at any of the videos I'm doing on YouTube, you'll see me implement that. And then you use those in your tag words and your key tags as well. Because what we're trying to do with this is we're trying to get people to find us in our niche, okay? So back again to the search engine optimization that can happen when you use this to shoot your short videos. So I no longer want people to think in terms of this. This is what we did in the past. Well, we used to get these video cameras and all, and we would shoot them. Then we'd have to upload it, download it, however you want to say it from that. And then we went to the phone, and we started uploading it into YouTube. I'm saying don't even do that anymore if you want the best SEO value. Use what I'm going to show you to set it up on the Google Hangout platform. Because I'll tell you what happens, George. People make a video on this, and then they want to put it into some kind of editing, and they'll edit their daggum, excuse me, I'm just from the South, their darn, daggum video for 2 weeks, and, they'll just kill it. All the passion's gone from it then. They'll finally get it into YouTube. That's too much time wasted. Forget that, okay? I don't care if you shoot videos and upload them to Facebook and all like that, but I'm talking about SEO. I'm talking about branding, landing on page 1 of Google. And I'm going to show you examples of what I'm talking about. I'm going to prove to you that what I say is true. So if you would shoot 1 video a day, just 5 days out of each week, you will find yourself making an impact and have people ringy-dingy calling you each day rather than you chasing them. That's the value. Every day I have somebody calling me and say, hey, Coach B, I might answer, but if I'm with somebody, they'll leave a message. I'll call them back. Say, Coach B, is that really you? Yes, this is really me. Or I answer and say, wow, hey, listen, this is Barney. I just saw your video. And I say, which one? I want to know which one first. But they'll say, you seem like a real person, and that's why I'm calling you. I say, yes, I'm real. So see what happens so many times on the internet, some people will hide behind that. You don't want to do that. You want to let them know you're a real person. Because people, George, are starved for connection. Would you agree with that? I mean, don't you find that people really want to connect with one another?
I absolutely agree with you, to a point where this is a tool that shows how real you are. And I want everybody that's watching right now to add a comment right now below. And I want you to tell either Dottie or I, which one of us is correct. Because the real person that George Madu, founder and publisher of the Network Marketing Magazine, ends up working here in the international headquarters, in the studio. This is where I work. So if this is okay for you to see me in my real environment, say down in the chat area, it's okay. If Dottie's right, I want you to write in the chat area, it's not okay, clean up your act. And we will take that, and our next hangout will either be me here in international headquarters, or I will have to go to a studio and do this. So either yes, it's okay, or no, clean up your act. Go ahead, Dottie.
You know what I tell George? It's like anything else in life. It's both and, not either or. So you can stay right in your environment, and we do encourage people to kind of get the background so it's not too distracting. But George is George, and that's what's great about you, George. And so we love you for that. So that here I am in Blaine, Washington. Think about it. Now I could just I could turn and show, out my window there. I mean, why do I live in Blaine, Washington? Because I love it here. Let me get my computer back. And I want to go out to my pond at the lunch, but then I want to love coming to Florida and hanging out with George Madu. So that's what I did finally last week, and it was amazing. The point is, by doing Google Hangouts like this, by shooting your video, I don't care if it's a 30-second video, a 1 minute, a 2 minute, those kind of little short videos you do to brand yourself, do those on the Google Hangout platform. Okay, now without further ado, George Nadeau, we're going to move forward then. All right, because I want to show people exactly what I'm talking about. Now I got to get my glasses back on for this. So if you see me coming in close to the screen, I do apologize, but I've got to get to where I can kind of see things here. So I'm going to screen share, all right, and I'm going to go over, let me just see here, click here, and I'm going to first take you, George, I just want to make sure you can see that. You can see my calendar?
We can.
All right. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to set up a private Hangout. All right. So I'm going to just click somewhere. Oh, I've got to go over to my actual page. That's crazy. I'm sitting here clicking on the Hangout page. Okay. I'm going to click here. Did you see what I did, George? I just double clicked on my calendar.
Right.
Okay. And I'm going to put private, oops, I better spell it right, private Hangout with George Nadeau. Okay. Now, notice right here that we're going to be able to add a video call. That's what you do. You click on Add Video Call. If you want to remove it, you remove it. But, you know, people, it's really funny, George. People are used to setting up, you know, lots of times their calendar on a Google Calendar, and they'll say, well, I don't know how to set up a private Hangout. I said, that's just because your eyes haven't been trained as to where to look to do it. It's right there, something you add every day. You've just not been adding a video call. And George, you're exactly right. I mean, you know, from a text or just talking on the phone, you know, seeing one another, there's nothing like seeing one another when you're discussing things, because we know how body language is everything, you know? So this is really important to getting clarity on things. George, is it true? We got clear on something just before we started this Hangout that we weren't clear on, simply because we were trying to read a document and text, and we got clear on it, though, didn't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's a great thing about it. So we were just like, okay, we're good to go now. I understand you. So anyway, I'm going to click on now. I can add in an email, all right? So if I wanted to add in an email, I could just, you know, add in my email there, if I can type, and then I would just add it, okay? So right there, you know, I've got my email in there, or George's, and I'm going to send it to both of us. But I wouldn't even have to do that if I didn't want to, because I could just save it, all right? It says send invitations. I go, yes, send. All right. So now it's there. So what do I do when it's time for that Hangout? Well, I would simply click here, and I would click on join the video call. That's a private Hangout. Now, let me tell you this. We can't do that right now. Why? Because we're on a Hangout. You can't run two at one time. Does that make sense, George?
Sure.
Okay. So we're in a Hangout. We can't actually go to a private Hangout right now. Now, the other thing that has happened, and I'll share this with people, used to, every time I was going to do a private Hangout, I had to set it up each time. I don't have to do that anymore. When I go to a private Hangout, it tells me that I can use that same link over and over again. So here's what I did. I went over to Bitly, and can you see me typing up here, George?
Sure, yes.
Okay, so I set it up for, let me just type it there. Okay, I set it up for Join Coach B Private Hangout. So anytime I'm going to just do a quick private Hangout with somebody, I'll just text them that link, or I'll email it to them, or whatever, or I'll have them on the phone. I say, hey, could we go to a private Hangout right now? And I'll just say, go to bit.ly/Join Coach B Private Hangout. Make sure you capitalize J, C, and B, you know, because that's much easier than this big, long link that I would have. So again, this is a private Hangout. Now, let me just save that, and I'm going to show you where you go to set up just a regular Hangout, all right? You click right here. Can you see those little dots, George?
Tell me what part of the screen that you're...
Okay, let me just see. It's up here. Can you see my mouse moving up to...
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Plus Dottie means my Google Plus account.
Okay.
These right here will open up calendar, maps, you know,
right.
Google Plus. So I don't have to open that up right now because my Google Plus is already here, and that's what I need to go to. So I go to Google Plus, all right? Now, just so you'll know, every Gmail you have, you can set up a Google Plus account with that, but I wouldn't advise it because it gets very confusing later when people are trying to find you. So I kind of didn't know enough about it when I started it several years ago and had different ones attached. But at any rate, so you come here to the Google Plus account and you may be saying, what now? Well, you might notice right here that that one, okay, is showing Google Hangouts for branding and landing on page 1. Now that's why we take it and we put it in a nice professional looking page that links right into what? The Network Marketing Magazine. And I'll show you in a minute where that is. In fact, let me just do that right now. I want people to really see, because George, we've got something really great that's new, don't we? Can you see that, George?
Yeah.
Hey, tell them about that real quick before we go forward and how important this is to what we're doing.
Well, we've just transferred 10 years worth of articles and material over to our new platform. We're using the WordPress platform because it's much easier. It gives us a lot more flexibility. We're still in the process of adding and changing the look and feel, but eventually this is going to be an interactive site, the Network Marketing Magazine. It's going to be multimedia, but it's also going to be two ways. We've just loaded in the ability to do blogging and surveys and so many other things. So and this is the place where people will be able to go to go to our Google Hangouts.
Yeah. And in fact, I want to bring your attention to this. Become a free charter member. You're going to get some valuable things by becoming a free charter member. So you want to do that. And that is on our Hangout page. So let me just click here and take you here. This is how you get to the Hangout page. And I'm going to stop this right now because it'll loop back through. But you can see that this is on our Hangout page. So let me just ask you, George, does it look more professional if we just, let me go back to the Google Plus. There we go. Does it look more professional if we just send somebody over here or if we send them to a nice professional page like this?
Oh, no doubt about it.
Yeah. So what I'm going to show you today is how to embed this into a page. I'll take you and show you exactly how to do that. And so you can see, this is where we put what we're doing. You can see that we have some LinkedIn Power Days that are coming up, events that are going to be happening in California. Hey, get on board for those at the end of February and 1st of March. Recorded Hangouts, remember what I said to you? That's where you click. So there's all this good stuff going on, and become a charter member. Hey, here's something else. If you haven't cracked your personality code, you gotta do it on this tool. It is so cool. It'll send you a free report that's normally $59. You come through our Network Marketing Magazine, you get that at no cost. And here's where you put in comments down here. Look at all that. So this is just, you don't have that flexibility, that capability when you come back over here. But let's say you just want to run something on the fly with a live Google Hangout. You got a bunch of people and you say, hey, let's jump on there. You can come over and do that. And you're going to come down here. George, do you see how I went under home and opened up these choices?
Yes.
Okay, so you click on Hangouts, all right, and it takes you over to a page. You see that right there? So this is very easy. All you would do is click on Start a Hangout, on air. You see that says that's Hangout on air. That's where you get the HOA. HOA, Hangout on air. A Hangout on air, again, will be recorded. Now, let me say this. If we click on this, all right, if you go and you set that up, if I tried to get into that right now, it would tell me I'm already on a Hangout. Does that make sense, George?
Sure.
Right. So, but you could actually give it a title, give it a description, put when, now, later, set it up, public, who else in your circles you wanted to invite, and you could start it. Now, that doesn't mean that it would start in that moment. It would set it up, but it doesn't go live until you hit the what? The button that takes you live, okay? So it's two pieces there. One is to set up the Hangout, and that's what it really means when it says start, you know. But it won't actually start the recording until you hit the button to go live. Because George and I were on the Hangout, we had it up, but until I said, hey, George, we're getting ready to go live, it wasn't recording. But it is recording now, and we know that because we come back over here, and if I were to push that button, we would see that it's moving forward. So there's ways that we set these pages up, and let me tell you this. If you become a charter member, all right, charter member, you are going to get access to the system we use for not only being able to set up your professional Hangout pages, because you might be saying, well, I have an offline business. Fine. You can create your own custom page with a system that you're going to get access to through coming in and being a charter member. We're going to introduce that to you, okay? And you're going to be able to also set up all types of sales funnels that are pertinent to your business, not ours. This is what we do with the Network Marketing Magazine. We find all kinds of things that are going to help you be successful in whatever you do. Isn't that right, George?
That's correct. That's correct. As a matter of fact, you know, as far as the charter member goes, there are many, many, many people that have started signing up. But I just had one leader say to me, I can't believe how you don't have your charter members not telling their people to sign up as charter members. There's so much value in this that it's like they get a library of education for their business. So I just wanted to add that it's important for you to become a charter member, but it's you want to have ultimate of leverage, get your people to sign up as a charter free member.
Right. And you know what I've been asked, George, why aren't y'all charging for this? You know, but I tell you what, we both know that in our profession, when you help people get what they want, we'll get what we want. And what we want to do is we want to build the largest group of people around the world for the Network Marketing Magazine, and every day bring you value, whether it's through our contributors, the articles, the audios, the videos they're going to share with you, through our Hangouts. I mean, we're just beginning, George. This is early in 2015, isn't it? Tell them what our goal is for 2015 and our membership.
Well, we are going to be at 1 million members by mid-year, by June of 2015. And that's an interesting question that you just asked. Why do we give it away for free? I was talking to a huge leader.
Hey, George, I'm going to come back because I want people to see you as you're sharing this. So I'm going to stop and come back to it, okay?
Sure.
So let me just come over because I think this is really important that you're sharing about this.
Yeah, you know, what I was starting to say is I was with a huge leader yesterday, and one of the things that he ended up complimenting us on is the fact that we are offering this free. And he said, you know, it's brilliant because networkers can get every bit of information they need to have a success, right, free of charge by just going through Google and searching different topics. They could get it for free. He goes, but what you guys there at the Network Marketing Magazine has done is put in one place a portal where people don't have to spend the time in searching. Look, the reality is if you're going to build a successful business, you only build a successful business if you're belly to belly with somebody that can either hear your story, or that you're following up with, or you're supporting in some way once they've joined you. So you make no money searching the internet or you know, doing your own research. We've done that for you. We have 10 years worth, And I don't care if it's prospecting or leadership. You just go to the Network Marketing Magazine, you know, plug in our search engine, articles on prospecting. You will end up coming up with over 100 articles on prospecting. You could be a lousy prospector starting today, and in 4 months you will be a master prospector just by reading one article a day before you go to bed or after you wake up an hour early in the morning, and then go out and build your business. So that's the reason why we give it away for free, because we want to be that portal where networkers, millions of them, come to grow their business.
Yeah, and this is a good point. I mean, let's think about it. I could run into Bellingham, Washington, that's 18 miles north. Let's say that I wanted to go skiing. And let's say that I ran up to every 15-year-old that's skateboarding out there and said, hey, listen, I'm going up to Mount Baker going skiing. Would you all like to go? I'm talking to the wrong group, aren't I?
Sure.
So why gather with, what we say, the No Friends Left Club, all your friends and family that have no interest in being in network marketing? Why do you want to go and bug them, the skateboarders, when you can come to the Network Marketing Magazine and you're going to go away feeling empowered? Like, wow, we are a great profession. Because, folks, I'm going to tell you, when it's doing things I don't like, I call it an industry. When we're doing things right, I call it a profession. And we are a profession. We offer value. Now, having said that, George, we know that people come in, and everybody should have the chance to learn without it costing them an arm and a leg. But we also know that we've got A to Z. We've got people that have been in the profession for many years, and they're looking for the cutting-edge tools in Facebook marketing, which we offered that with Jeff Mills. Click on that recorded hangout. You can get a great deal over there. Listen to the hangout. He's going to give you something of value. Now, that's not going to be free. All right? We're going to bring in those great courses, though. And when we put the, what's it called, the Good Housing seal of approval stamp on something we bring to the table, it's because we have checked it out. We personally know the people that they deliver, that they do what they say they're going to do, because we don't want to bring things into you and offer you that are not of A, value in the content and everything they do, and number two, a fair value if they do offer it you for a paid fee. We want it to be great. And then we had Miss Sherry Tree come along. Oh my goodness, talking about ways to increase your sales up to 300%. No kidding. What if you can literally learn how to talk to your prospect in the language they can understand? George, have you ever seen people's eyes just kind of glaze over as you're talking to them?
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. And what we have, I mean, look, let's face it, where we get no grants from the government, so there's got to be a way of being able to keep the lights on.
Yeah.
And going from a paid prescription model where we used to be to a free model, one of the things that we do is we, like you said, really search the best of the best. And we've developed a model here where if we have somebody that's ready to offer something of tremendous value, and they have to they have to charge for it. Well, one of the models in that is that we insist that that expert ends up giving our people some real value for free.
Right.
And then our people have a choice if they want to continue on. One of the biggest names in training is Dennis Waitley, and we've partnered with Dennis. He's been one of our contributors for all 10 years, and we are now exclusively promoting Dennis and his programs. Why? Because they have built so many successful businesses that when Dennis came to us to take on that challenge of promoting them, we said absolutely. But what we've done is we've started packaging some of his outrageous programs, but before we package the program to sell to our members, it's also packaged with, I mean, some incredibly free audio downloads that are going to help them whether they get a program that he's selling or not. So, you know, the thing is that there is enormous value, and there's a reason why we want to give it out for free, because this is the way we're going to end up getting to that million-person mark by June of this year, and we will be multi-millions serving the industry of distributors by the end of the year. And as a team, we come together and we absolutely help one another out. This is the age of entrepreneurism, and we are at the hub of that age and that movement.
Absolutely, George. And you know, my daily mantra is that I want to connect, I want to engage, I want to innovate, I want to collaborate, and I want to leverage our unique collective talents globally to form synergistic partnerships. People always say that runs off the tip of your tongue. I said it does, because I've sat here and I have said it daily in the mirror, walking around the house since 2007, because I live in this really small town. I was like, how am I going to, what is it I really want to do? And so that's what we've had to do, is position ourselves. And really that's that is the gist of what we're doing at the Network Marketing Magazine, is forming these synergistic partnerships, because when these people come and they want to access you, our valued audience, we say, yes, you got to come and give them something of value in your presentation, that even if they buy nothing, they walk away with value. All right, that's a given. And then if you do offer something that's a paid amount, you must offer a special deal to our audience, and that's what they've done. So that's what we're going to keep doing every week. So let's get back now, George, and I'm going to go back to the screen share. Let's just cover right now. I've showed you how easy it was to set up a private hangout. Oh my goodness. Bring up your Gmail, go to your calendar, click on it, open up an event, and add video call. Pick your time. Does it get any easier than that, George? Of course not. So use that. Number 2, and that is going to your actual Google Plus account. I'm going to go back over here, and I showed you how easy it was to just set that up on the fly, okay? So let me just screen share here. Now, I was over there showing where we actually have this, and it's gone, you know, because it says reconnect. But I was just showing you the page. That is our professional page, and I wanted you to see the distinction between being over here, where we were setting up this hangout on the fly, and you start it up, and then you have to push the record button. Now, this is a real nugget, because I'm going to tell you what, a lot of people don't even know they can do this, because they think, oh, in order to set up a Google Hangout, I've got to go over to Google. Wouldn't that be what you would think, George?
Sure.
Yeah. So I'm going to just kind of turn, I'll leave that up for now, though. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you where you do this over on Google, okay? So I'm on YouTube. So let's just say I'm here and I click on my channel, all right? The first thing I'm going to do, George, can you see Video Manager right there?
Sure.
All right, you click on Video Manager. And then you see where it says Live Events to the left?
Yes.
All right, you click on Live Events. Now, you're going to see right here that we've got that live event going, correct? So let's see what it says. It might kick us out on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to another browser, and I'm going to do this for a particular reason, and I'm going to have to go back and screen share. And I wanted to point out, first of all, that you go here and click on your channel. From there, you click on your Video Manager, and from there, you click on Live Events. And we'll talk about this a minute before I go to another browser, but if you go and click on New Live Event, you're simply going to be able to set that up in advance. See, when you go over on Google and you click on that button, again, you go back here and you click on that, you're doing that, that brings it up right then. When we come over here on YouTube and we set it up in advance, here's the advantage. Let's say I'm a coach and trainer, or let's say I want to actually do what I was talking about, which is do a video per day, each week. I can come and set those up in advance. Like, you know, Georgia, here's a good example. A good thing to do if you want to plan your meals each week is take a couple of hours of your weekend and make some casseroles or, you know, whatever you want to do, so that all you have to do is pull that out of the freezer, you know, so you don't spend all your time all week long fixing meals. So I do the same thing on the weekend. I'll take an hour or so to pre-set up, and if you could see this, if you're not seeing it now because here's all this, we're in it. It's live now. You see that, George? It says we're live now. But
Right.
when I pre-set these up, I have to set up one for Tuesday night because, George, you know that every Tuesday night I do one for the Power Lead system. And that's where we have this actually running in our professional one right there, okay? And that's what you're going to be able to have access to. And so it's great. I preset that up. Every Wednesday, I run another live hangout. Every Thursday, George, we run a live hangout. So, and I'm doing multiple private hangouts during the week. And then guess what I'm also doing, George? I'm doing some of those videos, a 30-second one, a minute long, a minute and a half, a 2-minute one. And sometimes I'm just doing tips. You know, I call them Coach B's Gold Nuggets. I'll get on air and I'll talk about how to be found on Google by introducing yourself with Google Hangouts. You know, and so there's all kinds of things you can do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right back over here, and I'm going to go to I'm going to stop screen sharing. Let me make sure I've got up my Safari over here. All right, I've got that up. See, I have to switch back and forth between some screens. So I'm going to stop that. I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to choose a different screen. Let me just see where I've got it going here, the entire screen. Page 1, I believe this is the one I can, let's see if this will get it. Can you see that, George?
Yes.
All right, I want you to just notice something. When I'm talking about, if what I'm telling you is true for the SEO, look what I typed in here. Page 1 Google with Hangouts. Click on videos. Look who's there, Dottie Berry. Google Hangouts for branding and ranking on page 1. That was done in April of 2014. Do you think that's valuable to be found when people are looking for stuff like this, George?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, look at this one, April 26, 2014. Hangout events on page 1 of Google, brand and rank. See, you notice these keywords starting to pop up? I mean, it's amazing. Look at this, how to rank using Google Plus Hangouts, you know. Look at the things people are putting on here. But there I am again. Coach B's Why for Google Plus Hangouts. For what? SEO. November 18th, 2014. So, George, is this like proof that what I'm talking about works?
Absolutely.
And so what I want to go back to, I'm talking about these live Google Hangouts, the HOA. Not the private Hangouts, but the HOA. And that could be one that you set up on the fly or one that you set up in advance. That part doesn't matter. The in advance part that I'm going to go on here and show you now, let me just go over here. Do some more. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go to YouTube. Let me see if I can get into, make sure, I might have to go into my, let me just do this. I'm going to go in Gmail first so that I'm sort of logged in. And it's going to ask me which one I want to be in. So I've got to go up here and I've got to get into, I'm going to sign out here because I kind of want to go in and get into one of mine. Let me just see if I can go over here and sign in. And then I'm going to go over here to YouTube. All right. So it's going to ask me which one that I want to log into, okay? So I can log into any of them. Let me see about going in here. All right. So I would come back over here, all right? And I would go to my channel. I'm doing the same thing again, all right? Now, this one right here, you're using YouTube as Dottie Berry, not wanting to let me get over here to my little, on Safari, it does a few different things, and I'm not being able to get up here to where I want to get. Let me just go over here, try a couple more things. Getting back over to my channel. I've got some things up over here, so it's kind of keeping me from getting to where I want to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over here, because this is the main thing. I'm going to go off this screen right here, George. I'm going to go back to where I was. Let me just screen share again. That's with my YouTube. I want to make sure I'm getting back onto. All right, there we are. Let me just go. I don't want to kick us off of here. That wouldn't be good, would it?
No, we've done things like that though before.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to go back over here. Can you see that now?
Yeah, I see. I see the events. There you go.
Can you see that? We didn't lose. I didn't lose me then, did I? Woo!
Nope.
All
Create a
right,
new
good
event.
to go. Oh, this is when it'll stop me if I say go live now. Okay, so we're where I want to be. All right, so we're back to, do you understand that we're in a live event? So we can title it. So let's just say I was going to do a video, and I was going to say Coach B's, yeah, I could just do that, Gold Nugget Hangouts training, okay? So I can set it up for today, now, or I can set it up for another date. You see how that's happening, George?
Right.
All right, I can go over here and I can choose my time. I can write in my description. Now, one thing I want to remind you of is that what am I going to do? I'm going to put this title in here 3 times at some point. And I'll write a description, and I'll say, if you want some of the best training by Coach B, then attend. What am I going to do? I'll put it in there again, right? So 3 times. This is all going to help these keywords that I'm talking about. And then you actually go in here and you start putting in the keywords like that. You take it, and you take it from the second one on down, you put that in. You take it from here, take it to that point. In other words, I'm pulling off a word on each end of it. Now, this is what I call my strategy for branding and landing on page 1 of Google with doing the descriptions. This is an extra thing I do. You can see I can do it very, very quickly. But what I'll do, George, is I'll go back in the recorded Hangout, and I'll put a PDF that enables people to get that PDF on how to do that. You think that's a value, George?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you know you want to know, how am I getting on page 1 of Google in the niche. I'm doing it by using the Google Hangout platform and doing videos. All right, whether they're 30-second ones, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever I'm doing. And then I'm coming and I'm adding some just additional strategies that I'm sharing with you right here. Just simple things that you do every time you set up a video. And this is why I like to do it in advance, George. If this explains it rather than doing it on the fly, I like to come pre-set it up, because I'm going to do these specific tasks that I'm sharing. Put this in 3 times. Take your title and make it into your keywords. Take a word off each end until you've got it all down in here. So I do this for every single video, and it helps in my ranking. And these are simple things that anybody can do. People think that SEO is something so complicated. Well, there's a lot of complicated things you can do, George. There's no doubt about it. But there's also some easy ninja tricks. So I call these the gold nugget ninja tricks that you can do. So folks, this is as easy as it gets. You simply create the event then. Now, I'm not going to do that right now because we're on live, and I don't want to mess up anything. I don't want to knock us off. But that's what you do. So, George, I'm going to come back over here, and I do want to show you one more thing here. And that is, how do you actually get over and set up something where you can do a page like we were talking about. And I'm just going to show you right here in the back office how that gets done. I'm going to show you one that I can take it and these are different pages that I have created, and I'm just going to kind of show you one real quick. Can you see that, George?
Yes.
So now that's another Hangout page. Now, George, and this is just for a friend. I'm not in Carrot Bars, but this is about helping people. You know what I'm saying? She's in Carrot Bars. So I've helped Amy set up, what? A Hangout page. Now, George, anybody that's in a network marketing company, or if they're in an offline business and they need to communicate with people a message that they have, do you think something like this would be useful for them?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, because why? It allows you to be professional. There's nothing wrong with going over to Google like this. This is where you get the free code, okay? But this is how, okay, folks, this is how you actually put something embedded in here. Now, that's another whole training, and we're not going to do that today. What we're going to do today is help you understand how you can utilize Google Hangouts and brand yourself. I've just shown you right there how I took you and showed you how I'm showing up on page 1 of Google. Now, you can do that in any niche, but it all begins with setting up your Hangout. This part here, George, just helps you look more professional, all right? I do one, I'll show you another one just to give people an idea. This is another one that I do each week. So right there it says what? Hangouts on air. So each Wednesday I do that one. For us, let's go back here again. Hang out with. Now I want people to see that these are 3 different types of pages. Right there you're seeing it live where I was just showing exactly what I'm sharing with people. So listen, that's where we're going to kind of end this up today, because the main thing, George, was to help people understand how easy it is to actually go and help people set these up. So let me ask you, George, is there anything that you think was just so complicated that anybody could not do?
Nothing was complicated at all. It was clear, concise. One of the things that I would highly recommend for those people that have watched it live and is going to watch it on the recorded version is to go back and watch it a couple of times. Watch it a second time. Watch it a third time. A fourth time, start making notes where it pertains to you. And then just like Nike says, just do it.
Yeah.
So you did a great job, Dottie, and I really appreciate your expertise and your clear way of teaching what some people might think is a complicated subject.
Hey, thank you so much, George. And so I do want to let people know that I will, now, just so you understand how it works, this Hangout is going to be in the main window. Hey, I just went off here. It flipped over to my schedule. Let me get back over here. Hang on one second. You may be seeing me, but my schedule just popped up. Okay, so this Hangout that you see in the main window of our professional page over the Network Marketing Magazine, this is going to be there until when? Next week, every Thursday. Once we move it from that window, it will go to the recording. So let me just, hey, George, let me just check and see if there's any particular questions somebody's got right now. Um,
I want to
or
know if they're agreeing with me as far as my setting here.
what's that?
I want to know how many people have voted for me not to move from my setting here in the national
Who
headquarters.
even knows, George? That is too funny. We'll have to. That could be a long, complicated
We're
conversation.
going
Thing.
we're going to put that on the homepage and do a survey.
There you go. There you go. I think that'll be a key thing for March. So, anyway, listen, we like to keep these to around an hour, and I really appreciate you. If you were on here live, or if you see this on a recording later, hey, reach out to us. Put your questions in the chat box down there because we do come back and look at those questions, answer those, and I will be putting a link to a PDF. So just know on those special little tricks about branding and landing on page one of Google, the little ninja tricks I was just showing you, that's in terms of the setup of your actual Hangout. I'm going to share that with you, and when we take it from this recording on the main page, our recorded Hangouts, that PDF will follow. And George, to those people who signed up, we'll be sending that along in an follow-up email because I know that some people might have signed up for this, but perhaps they weren't here in person. So anyway, that's it for now. And George, as always, it's a pleasure to work together. And we'll look forward to seeing you all next Thursday. Okay, George?
Thanks again, Dottie.
Okay, bye for now.